Do 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 do. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Kara. Hi, Neil. Who else do we got in? Molly, nice to see you. Amanda, hello. And Oliver, thanks for coming in this morning. I'm just going to get started here. Yeah, Kara, you're going to Orlando. When are you leaving? That's pretty exciting. I've always loved that show. I probably say that too often. That was my favorite e-learning guild show was Learning Solutions. 8 p.m. tonight. Awesome. So good morning, everybody. I wasn't really expecting to do a TLD cast again because I, of course, sort of like what my friend Michael Shayashi says, he has a great face for radio. I sort of feel like the same way. As you guys know, I'm more of the behind the scenes kind of person. But, this last week as it was stressful because my son was like, we thought he had whooping cough. He ended up not. And then a bunch of other stuff going on. Hey, good morning, Gabriella. Thanks, Molly. And so, and I got sick too, but I feel like I've been on vacation simply because I haven't been doing just the churn of all of the content stuff. And what ended up happening was I really started looking at, just sort of analyzing some of the TLD casts, and we never ended up doing a top 2018 list. And, so I kind of got into it a little bit and I thought it was fascinating. I'm like, I got to talk about this. And I thought as I was building the newsletter this last week and this weekend, I'm like, I want to talk about some other stuff too. And I think one of the most important things that I could probably do is just make sure that that we're in contact and that that we have this sort of like ability to communicate with one another as a community. And so I just put a little slide deck together and I'm like, what was it? The press the go button thing, the Brian Fanzo saying. So I'm just going to go for it. Yeah, we did do the top 2017 list, and I have a different interpretation of all of that stuff now, because as I think I've matured in the processes and systems, I think, and also just becoming better at looking at the community and looking at the numbers. There are definitely some different things that different questions I was asking myself, different than what I did last year when we did the 2017. So again, thanks everybody for popping in this morning. Let me go through a couple things. I really actually like the idea of talking about what's coming up ahead, and I don't want to do this type of thing every week. But what I would like to do is I still think that Mondays might be a fun day to just get everybody together and have like a rotating guest, have something to just get the week started out right, so that we can all gather and communicate. But that's TBD. Like Neil had mentioned earlier, having like a toolbox type of episode. God, I love that idea because I love those toolbox types of things. But let me just move forward in my slides here. So I wanted to announce starting next month, we're going to pretty much have 2 TLD casts per week. There's a lull right now in programming because we're getting everything set up, but starting next month, we're going to have at least 2. When I said that we couldn't do the 5, there, just a lot of different things that are associated with that. It doesn't mean like that we don't, we have a lack of content. It really is just trying to up the quality of what we're trying to produce and just be able to share all the goodness about it versus like us competing with ourselves, every day of the week. So, starting in April, it's going to be about 2 per week. Let's see. And Kara says it's coming in April. The toolbox, learning technologies focus. Well, there you go. Oops. Maybe we're stepping on your toes with that Monday idea. Well, I know a good guest to start out with. Neil. Okay. So starting next month, 2 TLD casts per week. I can't wait. I'm putting together like a page that'll show who all the producers are. You probably know them if you read the newsletter, saw last week's issue. I'm super excited about it because I think it's a great group of content. Just the diverse sort of set of topics that we're covering. I think that it just helps fill the overall picture of what we do. And I'm also working on making sure that we get easier access to the recordings. There are 525 recordings in Crowdcast. Like, I don't know how valuable they all are, but I know the playlists are valuable. So I created that page that everyone can access the recordings of the playlists on. I want to do that for the conference recordings as well. Just easier for you guys to get into that stuff so you can check it out. There's just some really amazing stuff in there, especially from the last event. Just mind-blowing. And I do want to put some energy into taking the discussions that we're having in TLDcast and shifting it into TLD chat. So, and if you guys want, if you aren't already a part of TLD chat, our Slack group, here is the link to join. And then let me go to my next slide. So, and sort of like on my little index card, my would like tos that I've written down. I talked already about a Monday TLD cast. I think like a regular rotating thing. I really miss discovering new people. It's only been a couple weeks, but that type of thing. So I'm going to try to build something like that in. And actually, I'm a big fan of podcasts, and I'll probably talk about this a little bit more, but I think that I want to pursue building a dedicated podcast, just because it's something that I love, and I actually probably digest more TLDcast episodes via podcast than I do, on video. Just on walks or whatever while I'm driving. I really do appreciate that format. And I have some numbers too that are really interesting that I'll show you later. Before I forget, I actually have to leave at around 8:30. If anybody else wants to jump in after I'm done and run this until 9 o'clock or whenever, let me know. Just post something, send me a message, I don't know, and I'll bring you in as a guest so you can close it out. But I do have a hard stop training a new guy at work, and so I'm going to have to bail. Top 10 TLD casts of 2018. Not going to beatbox. Yeah, I'm not going to beatbox. The number one, that's from Stencil. Someone's been looking at the stock photos. So the first one was Brian Jones of eLearning Art. He came in early last year, and the reason why I think that this TLD cast was so popular, I mean, it's kind of crazy. If you look, 96 attended live, 62 watched the replay. That is a huge amount. And the biggest reason why I think it was so popular was because he marketed to his whole list, and he has a huge list that he was going to be speaking. And then because he was discussing his report on e-learning trends. And if you want to find that report, you can go to elearningart.com, I believe, and look it up. And that was a popular one. And he is a really, really cool guy. I really like Brian. Haven't talked to him since back then, but I thought he was an interesting character. So I am going to link all of these recordings into the TLD cast channel after at some point today. So if you want to access these later on, take a look there in the just find the TLD cast channel on TLD chat, and you'll be able to get access to these recordings. But that was the biggest one, 240. And then number 2, Kathy Moore, which, yeah, of course. I mean, I couldn't believe that she was even on to begin with. We just kind of went for it and said, "Hey, Kathy, would you be interested?" And she said yes. And, she's, of course, the author of Action Mapping. She's absolutely awesome, a great speaker. She lives in Spain. I think she broadcasts from Spain. And no doubt in my mind that, why 74 attended live and 54 watched the replay. 141 people attended that or checked that particular session out. Yeah, she is fantastic. Oh, thanks for pasting in Brian's report, Kara. Number 3, imagine that. Melissa Milloway talks XAPI with Kara. And this was early last year too, I believe. And this one, I mean, look at the numbers on this one. If you look at the metrics, 36 attended live. I remember there weren't that many people in there. I thought there were going to be more, but 54 watched the replay. That's pretty incredible. XAPI, of course, is a hot topic. Oh, was it an Australian cast? Thank you, Kara. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, that's right. We were trying to, I like how you call it the Australian cast. We were it was sort of like we're trying to appeal a little bit more to a different time zone. So maybe that's why so many people watch the replay. But of course, 2 of some of the brightest stars in L&D, Melissa Milloway and Kara North, coming together for this one. It was a lot of fun. I remember watching the recording on this one myself, and I thought it was really, really cool. Number 4 was the Women on Work panel. And this was kind of the precursor to the Women in L&D event. And this had a lot of guests. And I remember it was, there were a lot of perspectives. I think that we probably didn't have enough time to talk through everything that needed to be talked through on this one. Some stellar guests, of course, as you can see in the photos. Gender bias, women entrepreneurs, female representation at conferences, imposter syndrome, talked about all that stuff. I'm going to try to highlight this one a little bit more as like a featured recording at some point, just because this topic is really, really a good one to sort of cover. Yeah, you definitely ran out of time quickly on that one, Kara. I remember. And then number 5, Leela Fever. So if you don't know Common Craft, you probably should. Leela Fever is a friend of Sam's, and he actually has made an appearance on TLDC at least a couple of times, and I know that he used to do L&D talk every once in a while. 80 people registered. You can see this one had another one where we had more replays than we had attended live. So that just kind of just goes to show you the value of that content. And those explainer videos, that is an amazing sort of skill set to be able to produce those. Definitely check out that one. When I posted it in TLD chat, check out the recording, because Leela Fever is a very interesting guy, and the process that he uses, it's actually he and his wife who produce these, and it's definitely worth checking out. So number 6 was this was the premiere of Women in Learning Development with Valerie Sunyak and Toddy Norum. They were hosting Stella Lee. And it just got, I think it had a lot of, it just got a lot of traffic because it just got out there, right? 72 total registered, 17 watched the replay, 44 attended live. Stella Lee is actually really amazing. I follow her on LinkedIn. She's definitely worth a connection. And I think that speaks to kind of the popularity of that series. Number 7, Melissa Milloway again. I don't know. Well, one, she's kind of a star. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Those numbers, 29 attended live. So it wasn't a huge live discussion. And then more people watched the replay. XAPI, no matter what, within TLD cast, XAPI tends to be a very popular topic. So, and then Melissa, of course, is somebody, she has a huge following. We are very lucky to have her on when we do. And I think Kara mentioned earlier, we might have another guest appearance coming up soon. This one I was surprised to see, Carla Torgerson. This happened this last summer, I think. Oh yeah, Labor Day weekend. And I don't know, I'd like to get your guys' opinion on this one, because it was on microlearning. It was the Monday after Labor Day weekend. Was that actually a holiday? Oh, no, I don't know. She talked about her micro learning design module. 44 attended live, 15 watched the replay. I was surprised to see that one. It would have been different if there were more on the replay. I think, I don't know if everyone was just, interested in micro learning, or if everyone was just interested in getting together after the Labor Day weekend. But this one was popular. Yeah, these are all standalone episodes, Lita. They the XAPI playlist which was the first playlist that we ever did. It's one of our most popular playlists. In fact, I should have brought those numbers out. The most popular playlist that everybody watches is the virtual classroom training one, which was the second one we did, I believe. And then the second most popular is the XAPI one. And I think that's really interesting. In fact, on that XAPI one, a friend of mine, Garrick Lee, one time sent me a screenshot. He was attending a webinar, and the presenter on the webinar actually had the XAPI playlist recording screen on his screen. And so Garrick sent me a screenshot saying, hey, look at this. I'm in this webinar, and these guys were actually watching your playlist. So that's kind of cool. Number 9, Megan Torres and Connie Malamed. These two, I mean, they did a takeover of TLDcast. I thought that was really, really fun. Both of them are just brilliant. I think they should be like in the top 5, actually. This one I should push out a little more. They had a lot of fun, and I'm glad they're in the top 10 because both of them are amazing. I'm a huge fan of Connie's and Megan's, of course, but they're two of the best. They really are. Yeah, it really was fun. Thanks, Kara. And then the last one, number 10, Myra Roldan discussed skills every ID needs to make it in the 21st century. This one I should push out a little bit more. And that's one of the things about a lot of this content. And one of the points I wanted to bring up was that, when you look at this top 10, there is really some amazing stuff in here. But when we're doing 5 days a week, it's just so hard to say which ones do we put emphasis on and all of that. So, this, I remember this particular episode has a ton of really worthwhile nuggets on it. Only 58 isn't enough. More people should see this because Myra is really brilliant. She's just an amazing woman, and I think that this is just a worthwhile episode for people to be watching. So I'll probably be putting that out more. So that's the top 10. And here's the thing that I was thinking about these top 10s. There are a number of ways that people can, why these generate the amount of traffic that they do. And, a lot of it can be social media and just kind of the following that everybody has. But to me, what I wish I could see and that I had access to is the interactivity and how much people are actually chatting and discussing within each one of these, because then I feel like that's where that's more of a benefit is, because I'd like to know the value. The chat is always Liz. Yeah, I'd like to know. Oh, sorry, Roldan. Thanks, Kara. I'd like to know how if people are actually if the subject matter is bringing or helping people in the community. And so the difference between me looking at this stuff in 2017 or 2018 and now is those are the things that I'm really going to want to examine is how much is this actually helping? Because we were going through a lot of churn and just pumping out content every day. But now what I'd like to turn our energies more to are making sure that the content that is being produced is stuff that people are going to be able to take away with them and utilize and find value in. That's the new thing. Okay. So just a quick check. If anybody else wants to jump in and be a guest, I will happily add you in. And then, because at 8:30, I'm going to have to head out and train my new guy. Okay. So check this out. Top 10 most downloaded podcasts. Is there any overlap? Well, and look at the numbers on these. We don't market our podcast that much, if at all. Rarely ever mention them. They just sort of exist, and I use a tool called Zencast to store these and to distribute them. That's kind of the distribution platform. and they get pushed out to Google Podcasts and iTunes and Spotify and all that through this platform. There is no overlap. I mean, you would think that this Melissa Milloway on Design Ops, XAPI, and A/B testing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The sixth one, that is a different episode than the one that was listed in the TLD cast one. But, I'm surprised about Michael Noble, who was, I think he was just in February. He just did this one, 156 downloads. He probably is just pushing that out to his team. Danny Dax, for January 20, if he was in, I'd ask him why are people downloading yours so much? It's also interesting that, so these are the top 10 since we started doing these are not the top 10 of 2018. They're the top 10 of all time. But notice how many are from 2019. There's quite a few of them. And I'm glad to see Bob Mosier on there. I don't know if you guys saw Bridget McGowan on public speaking for her TLD cast, but she was actually amazing. The managed copyright one with Barbara and Gracia, that one comes up all the time, and I think people are just looking up. They're searching for copyright information. I think that one is she's always been over 100 for her downloads. That one regularly goes. And then even Amanda Kaufman, the Thrasher one that she did a Video Friday, I didn't expect to see a Video Friday episode in our most downloaded podcast, but there it is. And so isn't that interesting? So I guess my point is that the direction I kind of want to go with a lot of this is, one, for the TLD cast, I like to start looking more at making sure that the interactivity and the value is there with everybody that participates within chat. Because the way that I look at it is chat is like the third guest, right? If you've got your host and then you've got a guest, chat is like the other guest. And I totally agree, Joseph, more people are finding the podcast, and I guess that's a pretty big deal. And I want to up the quality of what we're doing on the podcast side too, because I think that there is a legitimate case for just creating value there from our community, because I think people are looking for this kind of content. And one of the ideas that I sort of had is to just start interviewing, just members and doing quick stuff. I am a big fan of this one podcast. I think it's called Marketing School, with these two guys, Neil Patel and somebody else. I can't remember their names. I love the short, 10-minute hits that I get, because I'll be doing something and I just need to take a break, pop my headphones on. I just listen to it. At the gym, I'm usually only there for about 40 minutes when I do go. So, listening to 60-minute episodes is a little bit too long for me. And I'd like to hear what you guys' preferences are. If you guys, and if you're even interested, if a podcast is even interesting to you, I know that, if I'm not sort of engaged from the get-go, I kind of move on real quick. I want to see if I love storytelling. I love building narratives. And I think that I'd like to kind of pursue that in the future. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. And so check in one more time. Anybody else want to jump in and be a guest? Otherwise, I actually have to just make it a short one today. Let me turn off my share here so I can feature my big head. Good morning, everybody. And that's the thing with what we're doing here. The way that I'm sort of looking at this community generated content is I'm a big fan of reading posts on Medium. and I end up finding sort of my favorites, and it engages me constantly. Like on lunchtime, I'm on my phone or on my tablet, and I'm reading these articles. I'm different in that way. Maybe it's because have an English degree. I've always been a reader. I'm like I used to really be big on classics and stuff, and so I like to read. But when I think about TLDC and sort of the idea of generating content from multiple producers, I sort of like think of it in a way like I'm looking at Medium as a model for it potentially. Like sort of like, yeah, why not just have multiple people in the community generate video content? And what I believe is this audience, you guys in this community are uniquely qualified to share valuable content because that's who you are as educators, right? That's what you do at your core, is you want to share knowledge, I think, right? So that's what I'm sort of, that's been kind of been going through my head lately, and it's been nice that I actually have some time in my head to think about things. But as a way of helping the community, I think that publishing content like this through TLD casts, through podcasts, and ultimately I would love it if we can get like a real sort of like blog strategy going so that people can write. I think that there is a future in that for this community, as long as we just are focused on driving value. Sharing is caring. That's pretty much all I got. And it's been 26 and a half minutes in. If anybody else wants to jump in and talk, I'm going to have to go get in my car and do my commute. I am working at Redwood Credit Union for another couple weeks, and then I move on to a new opportunity, which is literally 1.4 miles away from my house. I'm probably going to ride my bike to work. Thank you, Kara. It's really, really awesome that I'll make more of an announcement of it once I start, but it's a place that I have been enamored with for years. So I feel really, really lucky. Yeah. Yay for riding your bike to work. I can't wait. So that's a big change that's going to be happening pretty soon. And so with that, I just am going to really focus on continuing to try to support the community and figure out ways of, helping you guys do what you do. So that's it. If you guys have anything else that you want to bring up or talk about, I'm happy to get you live and online. Marco, great to see you. Carrie, I have been following you on Twitter. I'm enjoying that. Thanks for being in this morning. In fact, I should be doing more shout outs to folks. Mark, it's always good to have you in here. Everybody, thank you so much for popping in. And there is so the competency models playlist that's happening this week. There might be a schedule change. We're having a little trouble with one of the with some of the speaking slots. We might have to change the date for it. That's sort of happening right now. We need a little help with that one, some scheduling. So just want to throw that out there. And other than that, I think that's it, you guys. I hope you had a good weekend. Oh, I know we're restructuring just to confirm what are the new TLDC or the TLD cast days. Typically, Dominica, and thanks for coming in. It looks like most of them are going to be on Tuesdays, Thursdays. And I'll have more of a formal sort of post or discussion about this. Most of them are going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now, we do keep Wednesdays open because there are sponsored opportunities that come in. Like, for instance, Andrew Hughes comes in on a regular basis. So Wednesdays may start to fill. And then, I mean, crazily, I'm into, I want to start doing something on Mondays. And so here I am trying to not do 5 days a week. And then we're slowly moving to 5 days a week. Alan is going to be doing Fridays, or he's going to be doing one Friday a week with his TLD cast. So there is going to be one Friday every month that is going to be taken up. Katie wants to do story Mondays. I think Mondays are just a good community days, like an open mic, sort of open forum type of thing. And I want to figure out a way to do that. I think that we just need the right kind of setup. Yeah, step up to the mic on Mondays. And I do think, like, for me, if I think that just being able to reach out and communicate with everybody once a week is a good way of helping the community succeed, just to hear your feedback. And I need to formalize that, just like maybe just once every week, just come up with one poll that asks, like, what do you need right now? Or like, what are you looking for? Just so that I can make sure that I'm putting my energies in the right direction to help you guys. I'm just going to keep working that way. All right, then. Hey, Paul, I'm probably going to be shutting it down. I've got to do my long rainy drive to work. And but thank you, everybody. Hi, Paul. Thank you, everyone, for coming in today. I really appreciate you guys participating. It's one of my favorite things in the whole world. And yeah, thank you, Kara. Thanks. And everybody have fun in Orlando if you're heading over there. That's super. I mean, Demo Fest is really, really cool. And hope you guys enjoy Orlando. Other than that, have a great Monday.